Over the past couple months, I've been warning about the dangers of feminism and talking to a lot of people about it in groups and things like that, and even women keeping their feminine traits and characteristics and holding to godly morals and values and being careful that you don't go into these weaponized movements of feminism, which I want to straight get into because now we got a 4B movement that just popped up. Obviously, that's from South, Korea, and is spreading across America and rebelling for the Trump supporters and everything like that. They're now encouraging women to cut off their hair, shave it, not have sex with men. They're probably doing us a favor anyway there, less abortions, things like that. But anyways, they're now telling them to divorce their husbands, encouraging women to divorce their husbands and have sex with their friends, especially if they have liberal friends, to sleep with them and have sex with them, to hurt them and bring pain to them. And then they're saying to, if you have boyfriends that are conservative or even just have boyfriend period, to sleep around, go sleep around with their friends. And now it's going to the point of we are encouraging to kill our husbands. That's what they're encouraging the women to do, is to kill their husbands, poison them or shoot them. They're even saying that we will, if I see a white conservative male in the streets, I'm going to shoot him in the head. I thought we were loving. I thought this was about feminism. Feminism is a cancer. It has nothing to do with respecting and equal opportunity and equal treatment. It has nothing to do with that. Even from the beginning, from the 1960s through the sexual revolution, it was all about having sex, being liberated to have sex freely with whoever we want, do whatever we want, and have power over men. They will be let it known. Having power over men is having sex with them to take the power from men. And they said, we're gaining our power by sleeping around. So one way they tried to sidestep that was fight for abortion. Obviously, his past Roe versus Wade was in 1973. And we had that aspect where women said, to curtail the repercussions of having sex, we now have treatment for STDs, medicines that was a threatening factor before. Now we have abortions. So there's nothing that's holding us back from sleeping around. But now they're saying we're not sleeping around, period. Well, they solved our abortion problem. They have solved the issues with sexual immorality, technically. No men wants that anyway. They want a woman that is feminine, that, has feminine characteristics and traits. I realize that America has lost that since the sexual revolution and pornography started rising up, and all these sensual pornographic type books that were once banned in this nation, even the videos and everything else. And then they were, as a liberation for women empowerment, they said, let's sleep around with men and get naked and free the nipples and things like that. That's their liberation. It has nothing to do with having treated equally and having respect. It has everything to do with power and superiority that was lumped right in with the civil rights movement, to where now we have where there's literally 0% of African-American males without parents, that now that without dads in the homes, now it's literally 75%. It's literally 3 in 4 households that don't have a black father in the home. This is the stuff that's going on. Not to mention that they're 13.7% of African Americans make up the population of America, but commit 52% of murders in this nation. My point is, the Black Power movement, the feministic movement, these LGBTQ rights, all these things were lumped in together. And I warned about this years and years and years ago, that this would become a weaponized factor against the American people and conservatives and Christians and Jews. And they would come first after the white males, and even bring in Islam into it and try to convert people to Islam and support their movement, even in Israel, by supporting Hamas, supporting the Palestinian movements with Hezbollah and everything else, and backing Iran's tyrannical government that is oppressing the people, when the people want to be liberated and freed and want Israel to rule over them, even in Lebanon. It's the same way. I've talked to these people. But what the problem is that feminism and all these other movements has nothing to do with rights and being treated, respect, and equal. They have all that. Everybody has all this. They don't realize how much they've had these social movements that were put in place by Democrats that was leading to a complete slavery to this nation and free handouts, from food stamps to welfare to free clothing, the free housing, to all these different aspects, and it has not benefited anybody. In fact, it's caused weaponization and more hate and anger towards people that are trying to protect these people from what is going on, from the left and the evil that's rising up in this country. So I want to bring this up. For example, when I was in, even all throughout every nations that I've traveled to, I realized a trending factor that women were very kind, gentle, submissive, loving. Even the ones that I've talked to personally that dealt with rape from multiple times and such an abuse, but yet they're not turning to feminism. I wondered why. I'm like, how are these women so kind and loving and still gentle? Then I realized in America, if they have hate towards their fathers, or they had a bad boyfriend that cheated on them, or something that happened with their husband, whatever it might be, they turn to feminism in order to feel a type of power and control over their own life. And they goes into straight on rebellion and hate and bitterness, trying to get something from men and some kind of power and authority, so they have a sense of control and, fighting back at what men are doing. So they go into this herd immunity in this collective group of people, so that they've naturally, in a psychology term, they like to feel like they're a part of a security net of people that's impenetrable. But really, they're doing themselves a great injustice, and it's causing more destruction in the nation and the family homes. It's rebelling against God. It has nothing to do with loving your neighbor. It has nothing to do with respecting others. It's full-on rebellion. Instead of forgiveness, we're turning to hate. That is the opposite of what God has designed. Forgive your neighbors and love your enemies. Forgive for anything, and he will heal you. But that's not the case. So going back to places like Eastern Europe, in all the nations I've traveled, there is, even talking to a lot of people, women growing out long hair. Now we're cutting it off. And the Bible is even talking about, Paul is talking about the long hair. It's a rebellion to God to just cutting it off because you want to, because you have a feministic aspect that usually has to do with the heart condition. Not always, but usually. And not only that, but women, for example, in Europe, very classy, Eastern Europe, and very classy, well-dressed, a lot of times wearing skirts, dresses, well-dressed, is very respectable. But they're gentle, kind, submissive, respectful. That had long hair. They just do not domineer over men, hardly. It's not very common to see. But yet they're very well educated, many with master's and doctorate degrees, many with really good paying jobs, just as good as men. That's what should be. And women should be treated with respect, kindness, and love, and being cherished. But yet, no woman should be trying to domineer over men or think they need feminism to get someplace, which I often talk with feminists about. They feel like, in order to be free or do whatever I want, I need feminism in my life to get to these places or have an independent lifestyle. Why me as a man do I not? You never hear men saying, I am a self-made, independent man. I don't need no woman, things like that. Then you got women over here. I'm a self-made, independent woman, and I don't need no man. Why do you got to make it known? That's full-on. It's a full-on rebellion. It's a hate. God said from the beginning that women would have a desire, like with Eve, to rule over her husband, rule over men. And this is something that you have to constantly put in check. Child labor, in order to curtail that, they're like, we'll just get abortion. It's rebellion against God. It goes outside God's natural design. And I keep encouraging women to be respectful, be gentle, be submissive in the sense of this. What I mean is, for example, I was in Eastern Europe, right? And I was at this restaurant where we're talking about to the guy behind the cash register to order food, right? And we were having a conversation for a while. This woman comes in and she sits there and waits for 3 to 4 minutes, waiting for us to be done. And I turned. I was like, "You can go, ma'am." And she's like, "No, it's okay, it's okay." And she gently waited. In America, a woman would have been full on chimp out mode, freaking out and saying, This is unbelievable. And talking over, like talking down on men and just with authority and power, right? Not the case there. Even when for example, I was going to this uh, laundromat, I needed to wash my clothes, and I couldn't figure out what was going on, right? Like I couldn't figure out something. So this woman came in and naturally seen that I was struggling, but she didn't dare open her mouth or say anything until I asked for her help. Meanwhile, there was another time I needed help, and this woman was boom, 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 telling me what to do, blah, blah, blah. Come to find out, she's an American woman from California. I mean, I don't need to say anymore. There was another aspect where I was talking to this woman behind the counter ordering my food, and this lady didn't realize I was talking, I guess, because I was looking at a menu. She came up and started talking, and then I looked at her, and looked at the lady behind the register. She's like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." And I'm like, "Oh, you can go ahead." And she's like, "No, no, 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 please, please. I'm sorry." And she stepped back and waited. This is what I talk about. This is for all kinds of things. America used to be like that. The women used to be like that. And now, instead of being respectful and gentle and kind and loving, they're fully domineering over the men because of this feminist movement. It has no respect. It's even in the churches when you have these female preachers, you have these women trying to lead over men and wanting their men to be quiet, and why they have to feel like they have a power and authority to just speak up over everybody. That's what Paul was warning about. He obviously seen the issue with this women's superiority movement and empowerment that was sweeping the churches and the cultures during that time. This is outside God's natural design. It's not the way it's supposed to be. It doesn't mean that women need to shut up and be quiet and never speak, but you do it in a gentle manner. If there's something you disagree with your husband, you do it in a gentle manner, like, look, or if like even big life decisions, you can address your opinion. Your husband should, seek what you think and be respectful of that. But ultimately, let your husband make the choices, okay? You are free to voice your opinion. But when a woman has to rule over and scream, yell, and take authority over everything, that is not a woman. That is not a woman of God. It's Satanism. And what feminism does is teach women to practice witchcraft, divorce their husbands, kill their children, and leave their husbands and become lesbians. That's literally what feminism does. There's no other ifs, ands, or buts about it. That's what feminism is. It used to be, a way to be liberated from abuse or being treated badly. And now it has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with power and control. And that's everything that the devil has wanted from the beginning, which is why he's using black empowerment movements, feminism, LGBTQ, and Islam, and these other, weaponizing minorities to feel like they're empowered. That's what the devil does. Instead of being in unity and loving one another and forgiving your past, people now need to go to what I encourage people to go to Christian therapy so they can seek out why I don't have emotional control. Search what emotional control is. And the majority of women that I have ever met don't have that. They have to yell over their husbands. They're yelling at their husband, domineering, full on. They don't have emotional control over anything. They have to yell and feel like that's their way of holding a power authority. You can talk in a respectful and loving and kind manner. Men shouldn't even be yelling at their wives either. There's a time where a man has to put his foot down and say, no, we're not, this is not right. We're not doing this. But do it respectfully. And women need to respect that as well. I'm not saying go too submissive to the point of sinning, right? But you should be submissive. You're going to be submissive to something. That's something that feminists hate. They're like, I'm not submitting to nothing, especially not no man. We're going to submit to something. Your job, taxes, police, right? Maybe they hate that. I don't know. You're going to submit to, something. Government, there's something. If you're voting for a certain leader, you're submitting to something. Even if you don't vote, you're submitting to something by paying taxes. You go buy something at a store, you're paying sales tax, right? That's submitting to man. And feminism is a man-made ideology, and they hate that too. It's a philosophy made up by a collective group of people that come up with their own ideas and ambitions and philosophies to make a movement to draw these people in a certain direction and control them and manipulate them to follow in this way, this direction. And that's exactly what it is. You're submitting to something, somebody. Anyways, There's something else I observed in, for example, Eastern Europe. Like I was sitting at a table and this man just gets up and walks away with the woman packing the bag and all these things of the baby stuff, and they had a baby, right? They're a very happy couple, getting along well. But then I started noticing that a lot. The men weren't helping out like at all with over the years, with the Eastern Europe, I realized that men don't help out with the women a lot of times. In America, the women yell at their man and actually expect it all the time. Men to feed the babies, rock them, all these different things, and be there constantly, whether they're working or not. It doesn't matter. Yes, I believe people should work together. But listen, women have boobs. I mean, unless you're a transgender, but still there's two genders, and that's just cutting off your genitals and becoming ridiculous anyway, right? Or women trying to become men, you're still a woman. It doesn't matter. Anyways, not to go there. But my point is that women have breasts to feed their babies. And now there's that movement where, I want to bottle feed this and that because, blah, blah, blah. It's not even a health reason for doing it, but because I want to be able to sleep and do what I want and want my man to feed the baby, blah, blah, blah. In Eastern Europe, they don't even expect their men to take care of the kids at all. And women there, for example, believe in their men being free and independent to do what they want, travel, adventure, go explore, and men being men while they take care of their children and love them and cherish them and respect, be there, be mothers, loving and nurturing. That's what a woman is to do. A man is made to work and be free and explore. That's what it is. Men are then able to give direction and guidance to their children, but a woman is naturally there to nurture and be there, but both are to discipline together. But without a father, everything goes to crap. You naturally meet women with divorce and they have to go resort to feminism, teach their kids to hate men. I've seen it in almost like more than 95% of households where there's not a dad there. The girls go to feminism and become rebellious and hateful towards men. Anyways, we need to learn to forgive. We need to learn to women to be feminine and men to be masculine, and you don't lord it over anybody. That's just the natural order that God designed. There's one funny thing that I heard from this conservative woman. She said, we need to start a 4D movement. Do get married. Do have relations with your husband, sex with your husband. Do grow out your hair long and beautiful, and do have lots of babies. I thought it was pretty funny. I mean, she couldn't be more right. She's like, God bless America. That's cool. I love it. You know what? That's the way it is. Women love, cherish, and be submissive to your husbands, and husbands do the same to your wives. Treat them with respect. There should be no abuse. There should be no yelling in the home. Figure out what is unhealthy in you, whether that's Christian therapy, whatever it might be, so that you can become the best version of yourself that God designed, so you can have blessings and just blessings and prosperity for your life that God designed for you, so that you have a healthy family for your future generations. I hope the best for everybody. I desire the best for everybody. I pray for you all, and I love everybody. It's crazy that I was warning about all these things long ago and had such a ambition to talk about feminism and everything else, and to see the direction everything is now going, just like that. I had some pushback from some people. Of course, you're always going to. But at the end of the day, this is what God designed. And we must follow God's guidance in order to keep the family household together. Women, learn what it means to be feminine and let God change your heart. We always see in the churches, women are like Proverbs 31 woman, Proverbs 31 woman. But the more they try to be that, they can't. Because there's an unforgiveness issue, there's a submission issue, there's a rebellion issue, there's a domineering issue, there's other aspects. They need to pray for it. They need to realize what emotional control is and what is going on in their past that they should just heal from. Everybody that I told to go to Christian therapy and seek these things out, they are living a phenomenal life. They have been broken free from so much. They have changed so much. God is blessing them tremendously. So I encourage it all for everybody. Men, lead your households, follow God. He is the authority and head of you, and you're submitting to him. And women, do the same for your husband as the head of the household, and be together. Men, don't think of yourself as above your woman, but equal. You guys are together. You are one body. Man and woman becomes one. Anyway, shalom. God bless you all.